So you have the #1 comedy podcast in Sierra Leone?
Yeah.
What the fuck? How fucking
shout out to the
random.
whole country of Sierra Leone. Yeah.
It's so do you have like analytics or something that show you where people are listening?
Yeah, so like with certain streaming platforms that you like say stream a podcast to, Apple Podcasts has like partnerships with analytic companies, so I can get separate analytics from them. But then my hosting website also gives me like national data, so I can see like how many downloads and like you pay extra for demographic, but I think I have an idea.
And so they just sort of like feed it to random areas, and so it's not like you're like advertising in Sierra Leone.
Right. Yeah, right. But
so maybe you should
even have to advertise there. It's sort of like the hosting website where I post the podcast makes itself more available to post on different platforms. So we just one of the most recent ones, we got added to Ghana, which is a streaming platform in India. So now Tampon Talk is available in India. They named it after another country. Yeah, well, it's not spelled the same way. So yeah, now we're on there, which is really cool.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
You have the voice. You have the voice. You have the good podcast voice. It's so important.
That's very true.
You also sound very American too. So I feel like a lot of people in other countries listen to it like, this is an American girl. You know what I mean? This is like the American story. You know, it's really funny. I realized too, like, especially when I was in London a lot, like people are fascinated with California, especially like there. And like California is this lifestyle. It's like Hollywood and all that stuff. And like, it's funny to like exaggerate that too a little bit, because people love it. People want to know what it's like. And of course, like I grew up here, so I'm like, this is, it's just fucking home, but it's interesting to kind of see who's interested in your stuff and kind of like go like, like dig in with that. Like I'm noticing for some reason, I'm getting a bunch of fans from Mexico City.
Oh,
which is, and it's, first of all, amazing, but odd too. And it's like you with fucking Sierra Leone, and you're like, all right. But now I'm like, I want to do a cover in Spanish,
Very cool.
And like, cause it's like, if they're following me, and then I love Spanish. I grew up loving just that whole culture and everything. And I thought it'd be really fun to actually cover something and then sort of, as a nod to those people,
Yeah.
So it's
I totally agree.
It's pretty awesome. But that's so cool about your podcast. It's fucking awesome.
It was probably like a year ago. We were the top podcast. I don't think we are anymore. We were the top podcast in Australia. But I think it's so. But I feel like I'm also just in my personal life and as well as with the podcast, like trying to challenge my comfortable worldview. Is it Bong Joon-ho who directed Parasite, where he was talking about like watch more movies where you have to read the captions, really like getting out of and I became more and more aware of like where I'm comfortable. So like especially like in music, right? Like most of the music I listen to is in English, but getting more into like not white English music.
Yeah, totally.
And then
there's also like what's so cool about him, and what was so shocking to me about Parasite was like, American movies follow this thing, like last night me and my parents watched that like Jaden Smith and Cara Delevingne movie, which was like, it wasn't great, but also it was like it does all the things that it's gonna do, right? And it's like there are these things that we know. There's like, there's always that point right before the end where like they fuck it up, and like there's this whole thing. That's not a thing in other cultures, like in Korean movies, there's like this whole other thing that can happen. And that's why that movie was so shocking, because it didn't follow that stuff. So that's why it's so cool too, for us to look at that kind of thing. And I think that's really important. And Spanish music, like I've been listening to, because I asked Instagram, I said, what are some great songs in Spanish? And I went down like a rabbit hole, and there's some fucking awesome shit.
Oh, I totally realized we never introduced you on this strictly audio format.
I'm Harrison Kipner. My family calls me Harry. And I'm a musician, songwriter, like my dad and my grandfather too. I'm sitting in my dad's studio actually right now for this. Yeah, I think we're a pretty fun family. I like to think, you know, I'm drinking champagne right now, and it's, you know, 1:00, and holidays are always like are always this. So it's a really fun time. It sort of starts with my sister's birthday, November 29th, and then my dad's December 14th, and then Christmas, and then Thanksgiving just happened. So it's good. It's a good time, and yeah.
Did you ever grow up in the household where, like, if your sibling's birthday was like close enough to Christmas, they'd be like, you know what, Christmas is your birthday's Christmas? Like, does that happen like with your sister and Thanksgiving? Like, we're not gonna eat on your birthday. Like,
oh no, she's having none of that. She's having none of that. We have very, very specific celebrations for each, for sure. She makes sure of that.
Like the lower, like, middle class families in the Midwest. You're like, you know what? Like, Easter was your birthday in November. Like, you know, we don't need, and we can all have it on one day.
I always thought that would suck, you know, or like if you're like Christmas Eve birthday, that would be terrible.
Our mom used to have my and my older sister and Sarah's birthday all on do it all on one day, like in the middle of the year. Like Sarah's birthday's in May, mine's in August, and my older sister's in July. So she's like, we're just gonna do like one day in the middle. Just gonna do one day. I always had to wait like 5 months to celebrate my birthday.
That's fucked. That's totally fucked.
You know, shout out to Lisa. Never forget.
Wait, so you have another sister?
Mm-hmm. A sister and a brother. Yeah.
Really? Wow, awesome.
There's too many of us. Do you just have a sister, or are you like
just a sister, just older sister? Yeah.
Yeah. See, the religious households, they have 1,000 children at any given time.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah. It was funny. My parents this morning were having like a cute cheers with Sophie and saying like that the day that, like, this day 38 years ago was like when the family started. It was like the beginning of their family, which is really cute. And you know, and my parents are both only children, so they kind of, when they had Sophie, they were like, all right, you know, that's it, you know. And then my grandfather, my dad's dad, basically followed my parents wherever they would live, like they would move to so they could be close. Yeah. And he was the one who was like, you have to have another kid. You have to have another kid. You have to have a son, you know, like, and which is like ridiculous, and such a, you know, he did things like that. He added a lot of pressure, but eventually my mom was just like, all right, let's just, maybe we'll do one more.
My dad keeps pressuring me to have sex. Let's just like get it over with.
Dude, oh my God, he was crazy.
I would love to sort of like transition, like have a delicious transition into like the next segment of the show. Is that, on the show, we regularly invite guests to share. It's the general term is it's an embarrassing puberty story, but it has these delicious labels like tampon terror, boner burden, diva cup dilemma. You know, all these.
Oh wow.
So if you know, I couldn't come up with one for voice crack violation, like something that just like so bad. Just something with the. If you had an embarrassing story to share, I've also invited Sarah.
Oh my God! I mean, who doesn't?
Yes, everybody has.
Who doesn't? Well, it's funny for me. I feel like, well, I went through puberty so late, like so late. So basically, high school to me was like hiding. All high school was about was like hiding the fact that I hadn't been through puberty. So it was like, you know, I pretty much would avoid wearing shorts because I had like no hair on my legs. I would like not raise my hand in class because I was afraid that they'd like see that I didn't have armpit hair really. And like
the opposite problem of women at that age.
right, exactly. And so, you know, and all my friends like started having sex and stuff. And I was like, you know, I felt so behind. I was, you know, and I feel like they must have known or maybe not, but you know, I totally just pretended like I was going through everything at the same time as them, you know? So they'd be like, you know, and guys are gross, you know, it'd be like, you know, oh, have you ever masturbated? Like, you know, have you ever tried like using lotion? Oh, it's the best. It's the best. And they'd be like, and I was like, oh, yeah. Or like, you know, that's great. Oh, I like this stuff. And they'd be like, what? And then like, you know, started hooking up with girls and stuff. And it was like, I had to kind of like pretend I was doing it all too. And so I do have a really fucking embarrassing story that I'm going to share with you just because it's fucking funny. And okay, so basically there was this girl, I would say my first girlfriend, kind of. It was senior year of high school. She was a year younger. Her name was Liz, and she was awesome and so beautiful. And like, I had a huge crush on her. Like, I really liked her a lot. And then we started dating, right? But I'm still like, hadn't really been through puberty. So I'm like, so it was kind of doomed, you know? Because I was like, in my head, it shouldn't have been, but in my head, I was like, we couldn't get to a certain point. So as soon as we got to the point where it was like, we were going to start, you know, having sex or like getting into all that, I was freaking out. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, she can't know, you know what I mean? But I know. So okay. So here's the story. This is so fun. I don't think I've ever told anyone this. I might have told one of my maybe my best friend.
Perfect place to tell a first time story.
Okay. So I was going over to her house, and I knew it was kind of gonna be on. You know, like her mom was out of town or something, and so, oh my God. So I literally got like toilet roll and put it in my pants to like make it seem like I had a bigger dick.
Listen, we had to do our push-up bra thing too. We got
okay, right. Yeah. So I'm like wrapping this like toilet paper around my dick, which is just so fucked up. Anyway, and then we're making out, and I'm just literally, and not because I thought she was going to go down there. It was like, just in case she might have like brushed my pants and like felt it. Right.
This is some really,
and then like, and then we kind of got like lost in making out, and I don't know what happened, but it like disappeared. And I was like, and I knew it had gone, right? So then I could feel it, and then I was feeling it like it was going down my pant leg. And there was like huge clump of toilet paper like in my fucking pants going down the leg, and I was just like, this is. And then I think I just like ran out and left, and it like came out of my pant leg, and I had to like grab it, and I like left.
Oh no.
It hurts thinking about it. And then poor thing, like she was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't remember how I did it or how it happened. I was probably not cool about it, but like we sort of like broke up, you know, because I'm like, we can't keep going, and I'm not going to tell her. So it was like so terrible, and I felt so bad. And later I apologized to her, and I was like, I hadn't been through puberty. Like, this is why that all happened. Like, I don't want, because she was like so lovely. She still is. And I was like so upset that I maybe like hurt her, you know? And she thought it was so funny, you know? And the irony now that I think about is like, she was so awesome that it wouldn't have mattered. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had these like, you know, fucked up perspectives of like what I was supposed to be and what puberty was supposed to be. And like, you know, and I had seen porn, like hardcore crazy porn, because there's like no restrictions on what you can see on the internet.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know, I thought was supposed to have like a 12-inch dick, you know what I mean? Like, am I supposed, I'm sorry, I'm swearing. I'm not allowed to swear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. So yeah, so I had all these like fucked up expectations about that, you know what I mean? And so, and it's so funny looking back, because now I see like just, you know, I mean, that age is just the worst, you know? It's all about, it's not about pleasure. It's not about connection at all, having sex at that point, you know?
Yeah.
And it was all about everything else, like discovering yourself, you know, and all that. So fuck, that was rough. And I actually have a song that I wrote. It's funny, I'm telling this story. There's a song I wrote called Another Liz. And I still kind of haven't figured out the production, but the song itself is great. And there's another Liz that I had a thing with at the beginning of this year. And it was funny because in my mind, I was like, this is the same situation. Like, I'm being given a chance again at Liz, but it's another Liz, but it's the same chance. It's the same thing. And I won't make the same mistake again this time. You know what I mean? I know that I'm good enough now. And I know that, you know, I have to just tell her how I feel and like go for it instead of like running away. And that ended up just not working at all. But I said how I felt, so now I have no regrets. You know what I mean?
There you go.
So anyway, so there you go. There's my fucking. That's a good puberty story.
Because I was gonna sort of on that topic ask about the rewarding and challenging like processes of the music that you make, and then how you hope it's received, and then how is it received. So that's, like you were saying, like that's definitely like stuff going into it, like some of the emotions you bring to at least certain parts of, you know, your music. Are there sort of challenging aspects, maybe the anxiety around like, how is this song going to be received that you work through along with the rewarding process of the creative process? That's a very loaded question.
Yeah, no.
With the time that we have, very loaded, but.
I think the truth is I don't actually care what people think. Because I know I'm great. But I think that... I want that confidence. I can't do that confidence. But it's also like, I know I'm on a journey. I know I'm going to be better. And I know it's kind of like, you know, you start baking cakes. Like, you might make a great cake by accident, but like once you make 100, you know, the first 30 are going to not be great. Yeah. And like, I know that, but you can still have good taste as a chef. You can be like, you know, that's too sweet or that's too whatever. And when you start to like feel good about your taste, it's like, it kind of doesn't matter how it's received, you know? And it's more about finding out, I don't know, it's the journey is really fun. I think the challenging part is just life itself that everyone faces, you know? Yeah. The rewarding part is the fact that you can take the challenge and turn it into a lesson or turn it into a song, you know, and like I wrote the last song I released was Happy Childhood. Actually, no, sorry, 2 songs ago. And I woke up feeling just like just shitty, you know? And I knew that I was just like, I'm going to write a song. I literally don't care what it is, but I want to finish it, you know? Yeah. Or more than anything, I want to finish it. Just because I think that's something discipline is like a big thing for me. Like it's important to me to be disciplined because I can very easily not be. Yeah. So it's like, I don't want to ever let myself slip into that. But I finished the song and I felt so good just having written it. And I was sort of expressing my sort of like confusion at the fact that I've had such a lucky life and a happy childhood yet I'm still waking up feeling really anxious, you know? And there are people who don't have food and don't have a shelter and don't have parents, you know, and supportive parents and all. I'm like, I can't be allowed to feel like this, you know? And so, which is bullshit, you know, we feel what we feel. You don't have to be allowed, you know?
It's a lot of pressure.
But just sort of writing it made me feel so much better. So the challenge was just life, and the rewarding part was, you know, being able to transfer that energy. It's almost like that song holds that stress for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the stress that I was feeling, I would like put it on the shoulders of that song, and it's kind of out there and, you know, kind of relieving me a little bit. And then I got to wake up the next day and do the same thing, which is the annoying part. But yeah.
Yeah. I love that you like also have that self-awareness of, you know, these like putting a lot of pressure on yourself to feel like, why do I feel this way? But then reveling in the fact that I do feel this way. And I think that introspection is hard for a lot of people to do. I think maybe that's a benefit of having an artistic output, because instead of being like, I want to forget about these feelings, some part of you is like, well, no, I almost don't even believe what I was about to say. Like, turn it into a song. The worst part is when you like break up with someone, or you're like fucking heartbroken and someone's like cheated on you, right? Yeah.
And then everyone's like, write a song about it, like write songs. And like, you don't want to write when you're that angry. Like, and also,
I see. Yeah.
It's so hard to, well, for me, like, I can't write about something I don't understand yet. You know, like, you know, Sarah, you were there for those Rick Astley shows.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, I had just been cheated on and I was so pissed, but I had written Year of Rebecca before that happened. So that's why it was so funny that it happened. Like, I literally predicted exactly how my relationship would go as a joke. And it happened that same way. And Year of Rebecca was like this song that I'd written about this situation before it happened. So that song already existed. All the songs kind of did. And then my therapy was doing that tour and like figuring it out as I was going. And everyone was like, oh, you writing great songs? And I was like, no, I didn't write a single song. I don't think I wrote another song that year, which is so crazy, you know, but being able to, once you do kind of, it's like you have something 90% figured out in your head, and then you write the song to get the 100, you know what I mean? Or, you know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I feel you. Links, where can we find your music? Where can we buy stuff from you for the holiday season? Give us the rundown.
Drop the merch. Because of nobody really has my name online, so it's Harrison Kipner. If you look up Kipner or just Harrison Kipner anywhere. So Harrison Kipner, Instagram, Harrison Kipner on Spotify and Apple, all that. HarrisonKipner.com. Harrison Kipner Music on Facebook. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I no one has the name, so it's pretty good. Yeah.
Are you on like Bandcamp or anything?
I'm not. I don't really understand Bandcamp. I probably should. I literally downloaded it just to hear that Phoebe Bridgers and Maggie Rogers song the other day, which is so good.
I adore them.
Yeah. I love them so much. They're so talented.
Maggie Rogers
and so real.
An export.
Yeah, and they're just no bullshit. They're just being themselves, which is so obvious, which is really cool. So anyway.
Shout out to Charmin Ultrasoft for sponsoring you as a young boy. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
So you can get I would.
Oh my God.
It's only been period related so far, but if I can get toilet paper,
like,
maybe.
Women, when they don't have a pad or a tampon, they do use toilet paper. So you
True.
In turn,
For real.
get a toilet paper sponsor.
Send them this episode.
Be like, there's so much here. I'm always unprepared because I never know when my period comes. So mostly I use toilet paper. So like, Charmin, if you're listening.
Cool.
All right, guys.
So,
You're awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
come back anytime if you want to promote new music. Open platform to just
great
promote your stuff.
All right, awesome. All right, guys, see you later.
Yeah, we'll catch you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, now you get to hear and be a part of the outro. We can record this.
I love Harrison Kipner.
Yeah.
Isn't he such a sweetie?
Yeah.
Isn't he such a sweetie?
So yeah, thank you to Harrison for being on the podcast. Sarah, thank you for being on the show, being my sister, and being around.
I legally obligated to do one of those things.
What do you want to leave listeners with as a little take-home message, a little to go in our Corona times?
In our Corona times, oh boy. Make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Nice.
Self-care is very important. Try to get outside every day. Don't
get outside every day.
Don't sit in the dark and be gross.
This is this is a personal attack.
I see. This is a to-do list for me personally. And just make sure you're doing stuff that you like doing. No matter, unless it's a violent crime, then maybe don't do that. But
maybe do that.
Okay, wait, maybe it depends on the crime, but
no, don't do it.
Just make sure you're doing things that are good for you and spreading love and only putting joy into the world, and
love that.
Making sure you're taking care of yourself and also being there for others as much as you can.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Also, stream Harrison Kipner's music because I love that guy.
Those two things.
He's a good man. Good pal.
And you know where to find us, or email us if you have any thoughts about Harrison music. Sarah, if they have questions.
I guess they can come to me. Instagram is Patrick Stumps Thighs.
There you go. Any other social media or just your Instagram?
You can follow me on Twitter, Sarah Estley87. I just spew complete and utter garbage all hours of the day.
Sparkling garbage, head over to the Twitter. And yeah.
If you want beautiful Mamma Mia tweets, that's all I do.
You need more reasons to follow Sarah on Twitter.
Yeah, you can. I accept new friends.
Yeah. So that's all will be available in the description of this episode as well. So click on those links and you can follow Sarah there. Harrison's links are also in the description as well. So go follow him, stream his music. Maybe he'll get a Bandcamp and make some money on there.
He has a SoundCloud.
He needs to get a Bandcamp. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we should bully him into getting
Bandcamp.
Go bully Harrison Kipner.
Go bully Bandcamp.
Go bully him.
Questions for the podcast. Questions for me. Email us, tampatalkwithmary@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram. We're tampatalkwithmary. On Instagram and Twitter, but the Twitter is so you can follow mine, Period Talk. Like us on Facebook, stream us where podcasts are streamed.
Your Twitter wax Mamma Mia tweets.
Yeah. You're right, I guess. But I just want to say thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting the pod. Stay safe out there. Be responsible and healthy and happy.
Keep your distance. Wear your mask. Don't go out if you're sick.
Yeah. Anyway,
spread love.
Spread love. Thanks for being here. Keep on bleeding. It's going to be okay. And we'll see you next time on Tampa Talk with Mary. Bye.
Bye.
When the wave comes, feeling good looking back.